I now feel that I've seen Stephen Graham be brilliant, but kind of being so much stuff that it almost takes my attention away from the thing that I'm watching him in.
Really?
Yeah, especially because once he's playing just a regular guy, I'm like, in my mind, it's like, this can never just be a regular guy. It can never.
There's some serious drama coming out.
He's too much, like, it comes out of every pore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just waiting to be, I'm also only in 2 episodes in, I'm waiting to be disappointed. Yeah. Like, you know, no spoilers, but when he was in the scene in the room and the guy with his son getting searched, I was just like, what is behind this? Yeah. What is behind this reaction? And, and I was in knots.
He's been really hurt at some stage.
Yeah, I was in knots.
He's almost entirely in a room, in a single room.
Oh my god, I think it's brilliant.
When
are we going to start talking about him as one of the greatest Black Brits?
I've been there. I've been there, my brother. I've been there.
Is there anybody else that you can think of that surprised you?
Red Rat.
Red Rat? What?
Yeah.
Obviously. Did you know that he was black?
No.
Yeah.
Cool.
There is who is the other one actually where you're like, but they're like fully black. I think is it a footballer?
Cole Palmer.
And where I get that news? It's Danny Cipriani.
Is it?
Danny Cipriani's granddad is a full Ital Babylon Rasta.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Like Selassie.
Old school. His mum's cab driver. It's old school. It's in his genes, bro.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Vin Diesel as well. Everyone forgets Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
But like fully? No, he's
Oi.
You said fully black.
Everybody
in the one drop. That's all I need, man.
Welcome to Black in a Box. The world is told by black faces in white spaces. How are we?
Very good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm okay. You know, just sort of getting through it. I feel like I'm trying to get out the back of this sort of flu season thing. And obviously having a baby at home is not conducive to that process. Yeah. So you're just constantly being dragged back into this.
I feel like it's been a particularly bad one too. Like everyone I know has been sick multiple times since January.
I'm just waiting because I haven't been sick yet. But Jan is she's just on the way out of it, but I've not had it yet.
You know that meme where it's like, fight back. And then there's the other one where it's like, no, let him get up. That's been me with this sickness season where it's just like...
Same.
I was saying to Dom before we came in, like, I love my mum. My mum is a full yardie that doesn't speak with a yardie accent. And you weren't allowed days off when I went to school. And there is a famous story of when I'd gone to the doctors, been diagnosed with tonsillitis, and my mum had sent me to school. And I'd got to school looking visibly ill, and the school had said, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I've got tonsillitis." They said, "Have you had that confirmed for a doctor?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Go home." And I was like, "No, I can't, because my mum dropped me off and I'd have to walk home." And then I walked home, got back, and then my mum was vexed that I'd taken the day off. So like, that's the generation that I come from. I took a day off last week because I was Ian Build. Yeah. Like I had nothing left. So yeah, this sickness season, like, Dom, just keep walking real humbly because...
No, listen, I'm just waiting. I'm not even smug, I'm just waiting. I know it's coming. Yours is surely going to only get worse from next year.
I mean, well, she's in nursery anyway, so it's all... Yeah. So there's not much you can do. But I've got like an... pretty insane. I mean, like, I never used to miss days. It's just looking at it works out how it works out. So yeah, I'm just walking into a war zone every time I go back.
If anything is going to test your immune system, it's this.
It is.
So Godspeed, man.
Yeah, inshallah, I will remain okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So back in the pod together. It never feels like a chill. It never feels like work. No. And it's a good job, Alana, because it's a surprise to no one, but, you know, we need a hook for a podcast. let's talk about current things that are current and things that everyone can relate to. And this is the news from a recent tap-in study that nearly half of Black Gen Z in the workplace are hiding their true selves. Now, that headline would not come as a surprise to me. You know, I remember in my last workplace, I think I've spoken about this before, when pretty much out of just nowhere, I got added to a workplace chat group, which was called Wakanda 2.0.
Right.
And I'd been there it can't have been longer than a week something, and there was 3 other people in the group.
It's a trap.
Oh yeah, it's just I was like, this can't be what I think it is. 1, this can't be what I think it is. 2, this cannot be everyone else in the business that is black. And it was.
I love that. I live. I'm not gonna lie.
How big?
I'm not gonna lie.
It was big enough. It was big enough, couple hundred. But it wasn't everyone. Basically, what had happened was there was a kind of a group before it splintered. Some people got in trouble, so it just went away. And then, I arrived right at the time they were trying to get it back off the ground. I was a catalyst. When I left, I was proud. When I left, they had 14 people in it, and I felt
14,
14,
wow.
and I felt like that was my recruitment.
Yeah.
But the role that this group played in providing a safe space, which stops people wanting to crash out and just helps people who are modern workplaces in the UK are not built for everyone, and they are absolutely not built for all people from the minorities, from black upbringings, from working class areas. They speak a certain language, people move in a certain way. It's, at certain levels, it's the old boys club, it's your university network. So having a space in which people have each other's back and people can advocate for each other is a huge thing.
Feels like we're describing jail gangs. Hey man, you can't be on your own, son. You got to join the
Join
brothers.
the Wakandas.
You got to join Wakanda 2.0. What happened to Wakanda 1.0? Y'all don't want to know about W1, man.
Yeah, how did it start? If that's
Yeah.
how did it start?
That's the better question.
Well, yeah.
We need the scoop on that.
Yeah, I'll find that out. I will find that out. But yeah, in providing a safe space and providing a sense of community, I understood the reason behind it, and yeah, this study kind of, I guess, reinforces that. People often who don't have those communities, don't have those frameworks, don't have the cheat code on how to speak and how to move. Their careers are at risk, essentially.
Yeah.
And when you don't live as your authentic self, it must be exhausting, it must be tiring, and you're not going to put your best foot forward.
So there's, I don't know if you guys have heard of the comedian Nimesh Patel. He was the comedian that got kicked off the stage at Columbia University for making a joke. And it was, the joke that he made was essentially about he's from Hell's Kitchen, New York, and there's a black gay guy who who kept giving him advice. And the joke was that getting to know this guy made him know that being gay was not a choice, because nobody who's got the oppression of being black would willingly add the oppression of being gay. And then he goes on to kind of talk about how he does the Stuart Lee thing of breaking down the joke and saying how it's quite a progressive joke when you think about it. But when you look at the headline figures from this study, 2,300 Black Gen Z, 16 to 25-year-olds surveyed, 4 in 5, 86%, African heritage Gen Z professionals change their names on job applications to enhance the possibility of recruitment success. 3 in 5, so 63% who identify as LGBTQ+, so they were unable to be themselves in the workplace, a number that rises to 91% of those who are transgender. And one of the things, I'll just speak for myself, in the years that we've been doing this podcast, it's been really helping me to work out some stuff about myself and actually having this as a space to kind of work some stuff out for myself. 16 to 25-year-olds ain't listening to this. They're listening to, I don't know, shits and gigs or whatever it is that they're
Give them more credit than that, man. Come on.
Corn forever. But it's that thing of like, when I work with a number of Black Gen Z young people, and it is fascinating to see how they interact with me and how they interact with my colleagues. And it's like, there are times where I'm like, they don't feel safe around me either. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, because I was like, how do we, as people that have gone through a lot of those same, am I good enough, doubts, how do we create a space where we let them know, hey, we are going to do everything we can to support you without creating a Wakanda 3.0 group chat?
Well, that is maybe part of it, but
I think that's really interesting though, because unfortunately I don't see what the alternative is. Because this is the thing, like I was speaking to you before we came in here and talking about some issues that we've had at work of late. And it's getting to the point where I'm like, I might have to go to the other side and no longer be a consultant, because I'm sick to death of having to hide so much of who I am and suppress so much of who I am, because that's a client. That's a really important account. I can't tell you what I actually think of you. I can't do that. I can't respond the way that I want to respond to you. And a lot of that, obviously, part of it's just to do with regular P's and Q's. But then a part of that is because I am not representing just myself, then I have to take the other part of what I'm representing into my actions and the way that I comport myself. So when I think about it that way, I don't know how much advice I could give to someone who is Gen Z, other than it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
It's
Get
really,
thick skin.
well, it's really interesting too, because I think it's so industry dependent. Because I think there's two things here. One, it doesn't sound, I feel like, too dissimilar from what like maybe our generation would have reported. So I guess like the disappointment is more just like, oh, we thought maybe things would get better. I mean, this seems like the generation that would be totally like more inclined to be authentic, like to stand in their authenticity. So that's one. But then two, so in my industry, like fitness, lots of people who are like in a creative background, and I work with almost exclusively like Gen Z, because
I don't know
their bodies still work properly. So like, but I wouldn't say, you know, like in the fitness instructor sort of like performance space, like I mean, it's all about showing up as like your authentic self. So I feel like I'm in a little bit of a bubble. So I think that's why this was surprising. Not so much because like I can't believe it, but because in my industry, I guess I'm kind of shielded from that. But then also because I would have thought it would have gotten slightly better than my generation.
yeah, it's often when you go a level up on the ladder though. So the people hiring the people that
exactly.
Oh
run
yeah,
your
fair.
space. So yeah, you know work with a particular studio, great, and one person might look after all the ones in the area, but the person making the decisions on the budgets for all of them,
Yeah.
you're then going into meeting with them. And it's like, I love your earrings. Maybe don't wear them to the meeting where you're asking me to make decisions based on your career.
Didn't realize I'd catch strays over here.
And you know that I think that's the thing. It's at that next level where once you're looking to, okay, I'm going to progress my career, that progression is viewed and seemingly by these people that it's conditional on behaving, on conforming to this perceived, accepted, path in terms of behavior.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because I feel like even if I've been in a quite like open, very like authentic promoting type of company, at the top usually it's started or founded or run by even Gen Xers who have a particular viewpoint.
Just ask them, we've got one here.
I'm not kidding you.
Look, pull yourself
When
up
he
by
said
your
millennial, for a moment in my head, I was like,
You're looking at him like,
I am a millennial. Like, what is happening? Why am I out here
That
catching
was too
strays?
easy, man. Too easy.
What do you say fuck me for? But Dom and Dan, you've both been in the position of being able to hire, and you've both hired people of colour. Has there, and obviously younger than you, I'm assuming, has their race played a factor in you employing them?
No.
No.
Don't do that.
My whole thing was like, and in my last place that I rewrote, or was the driving person behind it, someone else that also then came on board later on, but the diversity charter. And the whole point behind this was like, you can't, you do limited favors in those settings by putting someone that isn't necessarily ready for the roles that you do. It's not really doing anyone a favor, but you got to be as noisy as possible and just increase the number of ways in. So like as many people as you can to interview, as much feedback as possible. If you can, like we ended up creating an internship thing with the Brixton Finishing School, which is it massively opens up the access.
So what's the Brixton Finishing School?
It's like an ad sort of prep for the ad industry for people from sort of lower income backgrounds, not traditionally through like ad schools at university. So then you're increasing the number of the backgrounds and people available to you otherwise. And then it's like I say, internships, it's hiring people or working with people who are creators that aren't necessarily in advertising, but they can do photography, they can do this, just so you got to increase like exposure to the thing in so many different places, because it's hard work. It is really, really hard work, and the people the people who are above you are never going to do it. They're never going to do it. So it is hard work, but ultimately when you get to the actual hiring bit, you have to just hire the best person available to you, which is why you're doing all this other stuff in the background to increase that potential pool of candidates.
I have had a situation before where I've interviewed someone. She was a black woman, probably about 5 or 6 years younger than me. And she was great. She was really, really great. And I was a little bit happy that she didn't accept the role, because as much as I think that the company that I was working with at the time would have benefited from having her, I was like, I don't know how resilient she was. I don't know anything about her overall personality. I just know she interviewed incredibly well and had a great CV. But there's part of me that's like, I don't necessarily think this company deserves that kind of representation, necessarily deserves people like this to be working here. I don't work there anymore. I don't think they deserved me. So, and it's really tough, because I know you got to start somewhere. These organisations have to start somewhere. But then there's part of me that's often like, no, I don't think that I really want to encourage people to go and work for these companies. But then at the same time, it's like, but I should mind my own business because it's nothing to do with me. I'm projecting my experience onto other people. But genuinely, I did like breathe a sigh of relief when I thought, oh yeah, she's not accepted. This is good.
As he pulled the ladder up behind him. You know,
but I don't work there anymore. I left.
Yeah,
I left.
Yeah. It wouldn't be good for you anyway. So let's just cut that out and just
stand by it.
Throw the application in the bin. Yeah, it's. I have it a lot, like in my sort of current place, where it's a very corporate setting, and it's you don't want to be in a position where you're like recommending a role to someone who's not going to enjoy it, or
there's
like,
that
who's going to leave straight away, and it's not going to be right for them. So it's a balancing sort of. It is a balancing act, and it's hard. Really hard. Really hard.
I also think, I wonder how much of it is like that that this generation thinks that they have to, change their names, or they have to do like code switch and stuff like that because they've been taught by their parents or maybe older generations that's what you need to do. Like, I wonder how much of it is, oh, well, this is what like my parents had to do to get where they are potentially, or what other successful but maybe older Black people had to do to get into the position that they're in.
Do you not think it feels probably, the way that I would look at it is it probably feels more stark to them because they've seen so much social media over the course of their life where they've seen people being authentic and become successful. Whereas for like our generation, generations before us, to be successful and to not be white, middle, upper class, you basically had to fit a singular mold.
Well, it says here in the study that 85% of the respondents of the sort of 2,300 plus Black Gen Z respondents said being authentic at work was crucial for their job satisfaction. But then 47% of those were changing parts of their personality in the workplace, which is what they call code switching. So
yeah, but it could also be that they just need a job and they're accepting roles that aren't authentic for them, which is hard. I mean, if you only go to the positions that are like where the brand identity also aligns with your identity, like that's not easy to find. Yeah.
And the thing is, I haven't got the breakdown of where these roles are, but if you're getting into like a corporate environment, which I imagine a lot of these jobs are, be it in banking, be it in law, be it in sort of consultancy, like it must be impossible to find representation of sort of the kind of sort of personality, like Black personalities that they're used to being in that environment.
Yeah, it's tough.
Just going to what you said, I don't need a company to fit all of my values. I just don't want to feel like Andy Dufresne at the end of Shawshank, kind of on my way to work. It shouldn't always have to be crawling through 500 yards of shit-smelling foulness, the likes of which I don't even want to imagine, just to exist at work. Like, it's 2025. Can I just not hear the N-word from a colleague at work in 2025? Like, can I just have that? Can I just, like, have you all seen Dreaming Whilst Black?
Yeah.
And I just not have loads of those type of situations. Like, I probably would, and also kind of, we're all very lucky. None of us have like overly sounding ethnic names, and we have to kind of respect that we don't have those, like a very traditional West African or West Indian or sounding.
Don't change this just in case. So you can actually say what you want now. Just change the name again.
But yeah, so the thing for me is I'm actually cool with working for something where I don't subscribe to all the beliefs, but just don't break my balls. Like, and don't ask me dumb questions. Like, we've got one Muslim member at my work, and I have just tried to avoid them for the entirety of Eid. Not because I dislike them, I actually like them quite a lot. But no, listen.
We're going to clip that. No. We're going to clip that. That's going out.
See, you guys stop me at the worst possible times. But because I know, I'm ploughing ahead, but because I know that they're going to be asked the dumbest crap over Eid, I just don't want to be there and like have my eyes roll to the back of my heid like I'm having exorcism.
So you don't want to like absorb the sympathy. Like,
no, but it's the same thing when it's like
cringe.
It feels like with Eid, it's a bit like Black History Month 7 years ago, where people would feel like the need to come up to you and be like, I share your struggle. No, you no, you don't. It's okay. Just breathe, exist, leave me be, and keep pushing.
Let's space this. What is Eid? What is what's the celebration? Ramadan. Yeah, I was gonna say because when they fast.
Well, you have the Eid al-Fitr after.
Okay.
So yes, it is Ramadan, but how does it end?
With Eid.
So, but why? But most people just say it's Ramadan, so he's fasting.
No. Did you not just hear what I said about things that I'm dealing with in 2025 in my workplace?
I preface this by saying safe space because I know there's going to be people listening who are not sure what you're talking about. So I asked you to just explain what the thing was, and you tried to get on your high horse. And say, well, it actually ends with eat. Like, who cares? Like, just explain it to me like I'm 5, because I am 5.
So currently, Muslims around the world are observing Ramadan, which is a period of fasting, which is a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
At the end of Ramadan, there will be the Eid al-Fitr, which is the end of Ramadan celebration.
Yeah. End of March.
Pardon?
End of March.
I can't remember the exact date.
Yeah.
It's because it's also partly dependent on the lunar calendar, I think.
Yeah, this is an easier Ramadan, I've been told.
Yeah.
Not a purists. Not a purists. Oh.
But so my point is the reason I've been avoiding is because of the kind of, it's like, in the same way that if, hypothetically speaking, I had been overheard colleagues using the N-word, I don't want HR to ask me to come up with the diversity charter because it's not my job. I don't want to be around somebody who has to suddenly act as the spokesperson for Islam. Like, that's the point that I'm making. It's like, do your homework in your own time.
Yeah, but I find it as a bit of a duty because, I mean, this doesn't happen very often because the team that I lead, very open conversations all the time. But there's certain times when...
Comfortable conversations with a black man. You might call that.
This man is the villain. This man is the villain in the... He's like... It's because it's a year since the Drake Kendrick beef died. He's like kind of...
You remember like Super Mario, the Mario go-karting?
Yeah.
You know when you're just cruising along and there's those little shells that are flying around?
Yeah, and then suddenly you get hit with a shell from the back.
That's it. You feel like you just...
And you just spin out.
Here. Oh, shit.
Absolutely.
No, but there's one particularly important member of my team, and he's also a good friend of mine. We've known each other for a long time. And when certain things about faith and about his faith in particular come into conversation, I'm on like high alert because I'm like, I want to potentially jump in here, not to explain things for him, but just to make it clear that not everything, he doesn't need to answer for everything, and just be supportive basically, and to also like stay away stupid questions before he has to actually respond to them, because I've got white friends who in the past, and I mean we can all speak for ourselves, will do that, and sometimes it's appreciated. So I'm like, you know what, let me just be here just in case. Sometimes for this month.
I feel that. I feel like I take that strategy as well for my friends. Yeah. Whether it's like, it's not usually a religious thing, it's more like queer community type thing. But
sometimes you want to just be able to jump in and say, fuck off.
Yeah, also sometimes you kind of want to choose violence on behalf of your friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I wish is something more.
That reminds me, actually, I was... what you just said about the N-word at work.
Mm-hmm. Hypothetically.
I was thinking, and obviously this isn't like it can be a safe space to explain these certain things. I can't remember if I ever mentioned this on the pod before, but I was watching my football team last week. We were playing against PSV Eindhoven, and it reminded me of the most racist thing that's ever happened to me at work.
Oh, God.
I don't know why I'm excited.
Which happened... which happened in the PSV Eindhoven stadium back in, I think it was like 2015, 2016. And we were the company, very famous international company that sponsors PSV Eindhoven, if anyone knows who they are. At the Christmas party, music's on, I'm dancing, and a Dutch woman comes up to me and she's like, you got a huge ash. And I'm like, your ash? It's like the Zambezi women who put the food in their ashes. It's like...
What?
The Zambezi women who put the food in their asses.
God. Oh, no. Oh, ma'am.
And
Weird.
The country within which Eindhoven is located, there's a very complex history around race in that country. Look up Svarte Piet. It's not good. It's not good at all. Yeah, it just reminded me.
No, it's just a cultural celebration.
It's sut. It's sut. It sucked. Yeah, I just remembered that. I thought it'd be funny to talk about on the pod. I'm not traumatized.
One day.
I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Oh no, the funniest part was when I went to the director the next week and was like, "Yo, this happened," and his response was, "Well, it's a very big account."
Oh. I mean,
that was the start of the end. That was the start of the
man,
end.
to pimp a butterfly.
Yeah, it was that year as well.
Was it? Oh yeah, it was.
I was like, I cannot be here anymore.
Damn.
Yeah.
But in good news, like most companies in the city are no longer publishing DEI strategies following the winds from America. So
Yeah, so that's cute.
Well, at least I got in there in the first place then.
yeah.
This is the issue. It's yeah. In this iteration, DEI is done out. So that, to bring it back to the beginning, is, poorly named groups on the workplace teams or workplace chat might be as good as it's going to get for a bit. If it's just somewhere to take a bit of comfort that you feel you can be more of your authentic self, where you can chat to people, where you can arrange to go for a lunch, where you can do whatever to allow you to actually still excel at your job doing the stuff you're paid to do and not have to encounter some of the more other passive aggressive tertiary inconveniences. I think that's a useful position to reside in.
Yeah.
So me and the 3 other members of staff at my company, 2 of whom are support staff, we should start a group chat.
The issue you've got is how much you like to bump into them in person, because they might be annoying. And then you're then just stuck in the chat with, because it's a smaller number of people like, well, we're just friends. Like no, we're kindred, we're fellow travellers. I might choose to get off the bus at any time. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's just make this bus journey a bit more comfortable for each of us.
And sometimes it's just nice moments. There's a guy that I'm currently working with, got to be very careful here, but he's from Chicago. And he's from a different type of Chicago when he's on calls, and it's just us 2.
For you to his south side, isn't it?
He's from the south side of Chicago. I'm like, it's all good, yeah. We speak the same language, even though there's an ocean between us. So those little moments, it makes the rest of it
those
easier.
organic moments. I have them even at my work, even though it's quite diverse. Sometimes when all of the brown people just end up in the staff room at the same time, it's a little different. Just a little different.
Sharing looks.
Yeah, just like, what's up?
I bet it smells great in there as well.
It smells, and it's
product.
Oh man, I'd be asking about people's skincare regimen all the time.
Your skin looks great
Really
as well,
good.
by the way.
Thank you.
It does. To be fair, everyone's does. It's the first thing I thought about you. I mean, your complexion has never failed, ever. But it looks great at the moment.
Nice.
Cheers, mate.
Well done.
I'm feeling quite warm. Quite worn on the inside, but
You don't look it.
well, painting in the attic is taking a hammer in. One for my English heads. This guy knows, doesn't he? Touch me.
You sound like one of my colleagues. Irie, my brother. None of my colleagues have ever said Irie, my brother, because I think I would just
Fall out.
Immediate HR immediately.
It just makes me think of the guy from Phone Shop with the.
I was just thinking that. Kiss my teeth.
When he meets a girl's dad.
Oh God. Kiss me Blackfoot.
With me Blackfoot, with the cow butter.
The cow butter. I need to wheel that episode up tonight, man.
On code switching, has anyone got any particularly egregious examples of code switching that they've
that I've done?
no you've encountered?
So every time, I love when I'm on the phone to my brother and he's at work, because me and my brother just talk normally. And there's a way that his voice goes up. It's maybe like 1/16 of an octave. And there's a lightness that comes into his voice. Yeah, no, all right, John C. Yeah, I will see you first, actually. Not if I see you first. And every time I'll be like, then there'll be a pause, and I'll just be like, yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
No, he's playing a phenomenal game out there.
Yeah.
He's 30 and 20, but I see you. I know what you are doing.
The thing is, he does. I do exactly the same. So sometimes I'll be in the office, I'll be talking, be like, no, you've earned your weekend. You've been a superstar all week. And then, and then there'll be the silence, and then my brother will be like, yeah, it really do be like that sometimes.
I'm not joking, right? I said this to Jan the other day. This, not to bring this too low, but I was like, sometimes I don't know what my actual voice is. Genuinely, genuinely, I've had that where
we could do a whole episode.
I will say something,
Sorry
and I'm
to
like,
bother you, isn't it?
right, is that actually me? What? Like, how? I think my voice is actually really deep. I think it's real deep. I genuinely think it is. I think it's just years of being like, you know what? I've got to make everybody else feel comfortable. I don't think it's supposed to be up here. Go on.
Well, it's just that if you play a role for a long enough time, it's just you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drop into the cheerleader voice quite frequently at work.
Quite.
That is my
You didn't mean that.
Honestly. Quite frequently. Episode title right there.
Quite.
The one fake code switching that annoys me is when people are like trying to show that they're down. Everyone shakes hands like this, but then when the shoulder comes down and the arm goes like that, when they get to me, that will never, ever not.
That's crazy.
Why all of a sudden are you like that? It's like, bro, just stand up straight and shake my hand like a person. I don't know you like that.
What's the album where there's the skit, a rascal fist bump?
Oh, what is that?
That is one of my favourite skits. We'll put it in the episode. He tried to offer me a fist bump. A rascal fist bump. Ain't nothing wrong with a fist bump. Nah.
Because the thing is, the people that would offer it, like, there's a shared understanding. It doesn't even matter about skin color. So I can see that you don't mean that. You're trying.
I did have a colleague try to do like a 3-piece handshake with me, and the one nearly broke his wrist just holding on, trying to give it.
I'll do that. Like, I'll twist your hand
so
around.
slow, slow your roll.
We're doing this, big man. He thought we were doing gang handshakes. It's like, no, I'm just turning this into a real one, man. It's ridiculous.
Shaka, it's on Shaka's album.
Right, yes.
It's my favorite interlude ever, where he's like working the corporate job. What do you call the manager? This Eton, what do you call him? This Eton nobody offers me a fist bump. It's like, no, Nathaniel and Blake. And I'm like, Nathaniel might be black, but Nathaniel, Simon and Blake all got a handshake. So I want a handshake. It's like,
that is how it is, man.
The dip the shoulder thing is real.
It's that.
Or when they just get like a real.
That is crazy. That must only happen to guys, because I can visualize it, but I don't think it's happened to me.
It's the Key and Peele Obama sketch.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Good afternoon, Mark Taroon.
Oh, have you got any?
None that I can share at this current moment in time. I mean, for me, because particularly the last 3 years, I've always, it's if anything, it's me reverting to into Yorkshireness, because I'm up and down from the north, and it's the working class credentials, weirdly, are the ones that I need to reinforce. And I've got beanie hat on, but I had a baseball cap on before, and I have to. If anything, I try and dress away from this for them to think I'm not a consultant. So with my language, it's just like I go into the Yorkshireness rather than having to up the code switching into like a corporate thing. It's really I've got quite a strange got like a really sort of weird existence in my current place because I was hired from as the sort of creative agency guy, so I've managed to kind of just stay in that thing without anyone really sort of expecting anything more from me, which has been really been quite fortunate for me. But then when like we had an intern from the Murky internship, and we've had other people, and I've seen firsthand where like they've struggled to be the guy from IMG who's going to be the next corporate superstar. Whatever. It's really weird. It's really uncomfortable. So I'm quite lucky I've not had to experience that. From leaning into a sort of distorted version of self in the workplace, one thing I've seen a lot of recently, and I find this really fascinating, and I love it. I was born in London, as much as people
down the road, eh?
Just down.
Is I've seen a lot of we live in a global world, particularly Yanks leaning into like UK slang, but not black UK slang. UK slang for just your indigenous population.
Yeah.
That's how I would frame
that fantastic.
Yeah. So, and like, I never stopped to think about it, but there are some really satisfying like phrases, terms, like just things I took for granted, like you lot. What you lot do?
You lot.
You lot going. Particular favourite of mine. What am I going to say, Angela, when you come into the pub?
I've no idea.
Can I guess?
Here he comes.
Here he is.
Here he is.
Here he is.
Here he is. Pound.
Oi, oi.
That is pound for pound. Here he is. It's top 5. It is top 5 slang terms anywhere in the world.
Can I counter your here he is with it's my number 1 with a bullet. Now then's
my favourite. As a black northerner.
Now then, it's perfection.
If I want to be really familiar on email, and I know the person, I'll roll in with that. Now then,
really?
I'm straight into it.
And when you're really, really northern, you don't even need to say the then.
Yeah.
Easy.
Amazing.
Oh yeah. What's all this then? What's all this then? How'd you pull that one off?
I also like what are you saying? What are you saying? We don't say that in the US.
What are you saying?
What are you saying?
You can say that again.
You can say that again.
Yeah, you don't say that.
You get that?
Or like when people call you and they'll be like, "So what are you saying tonight?" Like that is not a thing that we say.
Really?
No. It's adorable.
So my number 1 is obviously Now Then. Yours is.
Here he is.
Here he is.
I'm always gonna like really die hard for the curses, the way that they insult people. Muppet is just the best ever.
I love
you
Muppet.
fucking Muppets.
Donut is also a
donut.
great- You
fucking
donut. That is my
That's all the
favorite.
sketch the other day where they were talking about how Cockney men of a specific age can use any word and make it seem
You Rice Krispies.
you fucking silly sausage. And I shit myself, honestly.
And it sounds hard as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Any word.
In the late 90s, because I'm that old, my favourite was just slag. You slag.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You slag.
yeah, it's still a good one.
It's just, again, it does everything it needs to.
That wasn't even like there was no sexual connotation.
No, absolutely not.
It was just you're a slag.
Yeah.
You absolute slag.
We thank the people of East London because like the old 1960s craze kind of East London.
Pearly King
Yeah.
came out with back-to-back bangers.
Yeah, big time.
We've lost recipes.
We really have.
The northern equivalent, I think, is pillock. Pillock is fantastic. Have you ever heard that one before?
I think maybe like vaguely,
You pillock.
but not enough.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that works still. Like
What's occurring?
Bellend is very British.
Bellend is fantastic.
yeah,
What's occurring is also it's just the level below, but it's still absolutely elite.
As someone who cannot stand Gavin and Stacey, I do not care for that term.
Wow.
Can't stand that show.
Wow. What's occurring is great.
Well, the first time I watched it was I was in a group that watched the last ever episode, and I was like, well, I've really not missed anything.
Nothing at all.
So hold on. So my friend, shout out Spen, is probably the best impressionist of Gavin and Stacey characters, particularly Nessa. And so I am gonna stand 10 toes for defending Gavin.
And that's fine. And let Spen know that window's closing. So Spen's usefulness, Spen's trick is going to expire any minute now.
Nah, Sarah is a very talented performer, and the world is her oyster. But she is Welsh, and so can do a good Nessa. No,
Well, that's less impressive now.
no, it's not.
She's Welsh and she can do an impression of a Welsh.
You're English. Let's hear you, David Cameron.
Different England.
What?
So all Welsh is just all Wales is Wales.
Hell yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry to the people. I can't wait for Dom to be standing on his doorstep reading a prepared statement to the people of Wales.
There go our three
Well,
Welsh
just
listeners.
like,
One
just like we were
Welsh
talking about on the
listener.
train in Shepperton last time. I ain't scared of Wales, man.
You should be.
Nah.
Them valleys, boys. They will
Bro, I'm not going to no valleys.
go to. They will mess you up, bro.
Sure they will, but I'm comfy. I'm comfy where I'm at, man. Big up to the people from Wales, though.
You
But
pillock.
I'm not scared of you.
You pillock. What are you doing? You sausage.
I've always talked up your talent and range, but good to know that after Black Boris, David Cameron is the next sort of creative light on your mind.
No, I just. I'm
Can you do him?
It doesn't matter if I can or not. The answer is this is a trap. This is a draw out. This is. See, I'm circling back to our third ever episode. This is a draw out. I'm not getting involved. Anybody that ever went to Eton, I can do,
Okay.
and ended up in politics.
That checks out.
Yeah, it's legit. Now then is mine. I love it. I just adore it.
All bangers.
Let us know.
Yeah, I was going to
The
say.
people have got to let us know what English slang is in your Mount Rushmore.
I need to claim for my favorite, and it's an obvious one, but taking the piss. It is the perfect
Are you taking a piss?
description of what is occurring. Taking the piss. And we don't say it, but I Americanized it a little bit now.
Wait, how do you... What, no.
Sometimes I'll say, are you teeing the pee?
Oh God, we've lost it. I don't know how, but a Gale's Bakery just opened in the studio.
It had to be
Tea
done.
in the pee?
You're teeing the pee.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
Californication.
No, bro,
Baby.
no, stop, man.
Just kidding, I'm taking the piss.
She's T in the P.
I'm teeing the pee.
We've lost control of the pod. So, on that note, sometimes it's best to cut and run. We've been Black in the Box.
Bizzle.
See you next time.
Deuces.
Don't ever say that.
Teeing the pee?
Never ever.
No.
Never.
I don't say it often,
Nope.
but I do say it.
Don't say it ever.
I like it.